Well, good afternoon, everybody. We certainly appreciate you being here. I'm standing on a pitcher's mound with John Lieber. Anybody that knows anything about baseball players from Mobile, you know who John is. The reason we're here today is we're here to announce a new initiative for the youth of our community called Mobile Play Ball. And the reason we're doing that is that, our young folks have to have something to do. And you think, well, this is just about baseball. Well, it's really not just about baseball. It's about giving our children an opportunity to engage in a sport so it'll keep them from being in the streets. There's so many of our children that it's through athletics, that they are encouraged to stay in school. And we all know if they stay in school, they get a high school diploma, they get a GED, there's a better chance of them getting a job. So with this initiative, we're hoping to breathe life into these parks because over the last several years, there's been no money spent by the city on the parks. It's the parents who've maintained them, and they need a helping hand. And I bumped into John the other day, and I'll let him tell you a little bit about it, but it was a fortuitous meeting. I was explaining about the situation with our parks, and he said, we can really do something about it. And so I just want to turn it over to John right now, and John, you tell him where we stand.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sandy. No, I was talking to Sandy the other night, and we just got to talking real quick about youth sports here in Mobile, and I just told him how concerned I was on how the state of our parks and what condition they've been in over the past few years. My kids play ball, play a lot of baseball around in these parks, and I've been all over the United States and different cities, and I've seen the type of ballparks that are in these cities. And, I hate to say it, but ours are not up to those standards. And what I mean is there's a lot of time and effort spent by parents that are putting their own money, into these parks to get them up to par to where they're playable. And I'd like to see Sandy and I get a committee together to, somewhere down the road here, we start giving more into these ballparks and bringing more kids off the streets and into youth sports.
Thank you, John. It's more than baseball. It's about education. But by doing that, it's addressing crime. And as we all know, that's one of the biggest issues that we have in our community today. So we thank you for being here. We're excited about it. So we'd be glad to answer any questions you may have. John, I think the first thing, already the different parent associations associated with the parks, they know what's needed at their parks. Right now, it's not about adding additional parks. It's about taking care of the assets that we already have and that we're not taking care of. Where will the money come from? It's going to be found in the areas where we're presently today. I'd say wasting money. There is money available. The problem is generally not revenues. It's how you're spending the money. If we're going to address crime and we're going to address education, this is one of the places where we can start. Last Saturday, I went around to 3 different parks, and I was actually driven around by one of the parents that's also a coach, and he showed me what was going on, and he told me the frustration that they have in dealing with the city. And he said every time they turn, to try to get some help, that they run into some kind of obstacle. So I think it's understanding that they'll have a mayor that is reaching out to them and wanting to work with them. And so if we do that, it'll change the attitudes. There's so many people that today would contribute to helping the parks, become better, but there's a roadblock in there. And we need to pull that roadblock down. If I were putting a priority on it, I would say that we've got to bring our current facilities up to snuff. But if you go to almost any other community, it's like John said, their facilities are an attractant. They are a moneymaker where they have tournaments. And so with that in mind, I think the second thing is that you work to make sure that you do the facilities, that'll be an attractant to tournaments and all, whether it's soccer, whether it's football, baseball, and even the swimming facilities, the aquatic facilities. We just have not done what we said we were going to do. Absolutely. This is just one of many facilities, and I think they're all pretty much in the same shape. So it's not about any one facility. I do not think just one big, large complex is the answer. It does help when you're having tournaments, if you're bringing, soccer teams from around the state to come in. But we have neighborhoods, and a lot of those parks, the neighbors, the children need to be able to walk to the park. So I'm not for getting rid of the neighborhood parks.
I've been involved with Municipal Park for 22 years up here. For the last, well, August will be 4 years we've had no lights on the football field. 11 and 12-year-old kids have had to go all the way to Bayou La Battery to play home games. Last year our whole teams, we had to have our homecoming game at Pritchard Stadium because all our teams play at the same place on those days. We start at 8:30 in the morning, the last game starts at 6 o'clock at night. And everybody knows in South Alabama, in November, late October, November, it's dark at 5. We cannot start a game at 4:30 and then another one at 6 and play them. So we got to play our kids somewhere. But 4 years ago, will be August, the lights were cut down in August, in the middle of the football season, with no plan to put the lights back up. And every year we've been hearing the same thing. And now they're telling us that there is a proposal to put the lights up, but it's just like every other year. We'll believe it when we see it.